Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. On this episode of Milan Coast to Coast, well, I had to go international. I had to get my buddy Vince Mancini out here with me. Gio's swimming in the pool or whatever he's doing out there. I should be in the pool. It's damn near 100 out here in New York, but it's all right. Team news is hot as ever. Have we signed anybody? No, not even close. But we're getting rid of people. Me and Vince, of course, we're going to talk about it all. We got to replace TG. We got to see how Vince feels about this loss and who we possibly could be coming in to reinforce this midfield. We got big news regarding one of our phenoms, our generational talent, as Gio would say. We got Camarda news. We're going to talk about it. Frolani's talking. Tade's talking. Everybody's talking. But tonight, we're talking. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, if you haven't already, do us a favor. Do us a solid. Make sure you subscribe to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all of our latest videos when we're going live. Follow us on all of our audio platforms. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the channel, become a Patreon. Super chats are open. Somebody find Lord Figo because he's digging in a ditch, baby. Listen. Somewhere where he is, it's 50 degrees. 5-0, ladies and gentlemen. Me, Vince Mancini, are you ready?
Let's go! Milan Weekly Podcast presents Milan Coast to Coast with your host, Gio and Fabio.
Benvenuti nella casa
Let's bring us in. What up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Fabio coming live from Long Island, New York. Tonight, joined by the one, the only, the spectacular Vince Mancini, live from Winnipeg, Canada. Vinny, how you doing tonight, bro?
I'm good. I feel like we're doing Coast to Prairies tonight.
Hey, I don't like the way that sounds, but we're going to keep it moving. Listen, a lot of stuff going on. Vince, first time in a long time that we've had you here on the channel. Obviously, one of our Patreons. One of my favorites, of course, local member of Milan Club Toronto. Let's not forget that. So it's a Toronto-New York connection tonight, guys. We got a lot on the topic. If you want to help support the channel, super chats are open. Super chats, we will get your comment or question later on the show, but drop it in there if you want to support the channel. Guys, let's go. Big news today. Theo Hernandez. The deal has been made to Al Halal chicken.
Oh, God.
This guy, and I got to say, man, I didn't think this was going to happen. I'm a little sad to see it. Theo Hernandez on his last year of his contract. We had suitors supposedly from Atletico Madrid. Didn't seem to want to pony up the money. Obviously, extension talks failed. Had a pretty piss-poor season this last season. Defensively, been awful for 2024, 2025. The days of playing center back and fill it in spots, those seem long gone, Vince. So news here is that he's going to Saudi Arabia to be coached by one and only Lemone Inzaghi out there.
Jesus.
Now, what's your thoughts, man? 30 million last year, I think, after bonuses and everything. Big news is that this guy is going to get paid. They're spreading mad cheese on him. 20 mil a year. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. 20 mil a year. 40 mil in a two-piece? God damn.
What's the contract length is the question.
I think it's 2 years. It's only 2 years.
So,
Yeah.
See, that's not bad. He's still young. He's going to be making a significant amount of paper. His wife and his kids are probably still going to stay in Milan. And then he probably has an opportunity to either come back to Europe after a year like most players do, stay there for the 2 years, make bank, and see what happens. But he needs a springboard right now.
He does. It's a little concerning when you think about the fact in regard just to him professionally. Not a great season. Obviously, defensively, major woes there. It's the offensive side that makes him so dynamic and why you would want to get him, on his best days.
Mentality, too.
Mentality, not necessarily there in the last two seasons.
He's
So-
not. the thing is, like, again, sorry to interrupt here, but
No, go, of course.
he's been with us for 6 seasons.
6, yeah.
When he's with Maldini and when he was with that era of Milan,
Way
he
better.
was a different personality.
For sure.
And then you've seen him over the last 3 years, and he is a completely different person. And that brings me to the point where I've honestly wanted to see this person leave this club for the last 3 years. And the reason why I'm saying this is 3 years ago, we could have been making bank. And what I honestly think, and this is probably going to piss a few people off here, but I've never been a significant fan of Theo for multiple reasons. And the biggest reason for me is I've honestly felt like he's jeopardized the development of our left side. He's been an all-star player, and it's not just significantly his fault. The team has never found somebody to replace him and give him a little bit of a breather.
Yeah.
But the problem is, how have we been able to develop that left side if it's been a one-man show? So that's the thing that I would have either liked to see him go 3 years ago, make bank, and hopefully acquire 2 players or bring up a player that we've already had and start to really develop that left-hand side where we're just not a one-man party.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm mad that he's leaving now. We're still making a little bit of money, which is good because we could have been making nothing next year.
And this deal didn't look like it was going to happen.
Not at all. He wanted to stay.
You
He
know,
wanted to stay. So
well, it was more of just the fact that he didn't like the idea of going to Saudi Arabia. And I don't blame him because honestly, for a coach, it makes sense. You can always go to Saudi Arabia, make a big chunk of money, and then end up back somewhere in Europe coaching a formidable team. A player, on the other hand, I'm just a little surprised he eventually accepted it because he could have taken the opportunity to just say, look, Milan, I don't want to ride out, unless you move me to another team that seems to make sense in Europe, I'll write out my contract. And you know what? It's a World Cup season. I'm going to give my all. So I could turn around and I can't have a shit season. I'll lose my spot on France. So that could have been something he thought of. But in the end, bro, he's
not playing for France next year.
I don't know,
I
man.
don't think so.
Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing on Portugal, bro.
I'm sorry.
All I'm saying, bro. All I'm saying.
Like,
Listen, if you go there and you ball,
Yep.
I think you have a good opportunity of still keeping your spot because, again, Theo is a talented player. Will there be other French players that step up that could take his spot? Possibly this season. But this guy was making somewhere in the range of, I think, 4.5 to 5 million a season. He's going to 20 million. That's 4 times more for 2 seasons. He could be potentially set. And listen, if David Beckham and Zlatan can go to the MLS and still get contracts back in Europe after, who's to say that he can't do the same thing? He's only going to be like 30 years old or 29 something. He's very young still, Theo.
But
You got to remember, he came over. He was only like 20, 21 years old. It's only been 6 years. So it makes sense. You go over there for 2 years. You get a lot of money. But I want to ask you, in regards to Theo's legacy, right? So you mentioned 6 years with us. Obviously, his best years were not the last year or even the year prior. It's really our Scudetto year. And obviously, he had a lot of highlight moments. But when you look back at his legacy here, what are you going to think of?
2 things. Absolutely fantastic. No, actually 3 things. Absolutely fantastic goal scorer. Not what we needed defensively. Very, very poor attitude that I never really liked. That's the reason why I never got a jersey with his name on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. And I want to know if a lot of people bought jerseys with Theo's name on the back. Because I'll be honest, I'm probably one of the rare individuals, and mock me if you'd like, that has an Adley jersey on my back. And the reason why...
Yeah, I don't know, my friend. I don't know about that one.
But you know what? My favorite player of all time has been Gattuso. Okay, he's always been. You know, who, in the banter, you know who I had as another jersey? De Jong. These are the types of people that I like. The people that want to go and actually battle for these colors. Theo, it was 50-50 with him. Sometimes he wanted to battle for these colors.
I don't know, my friend.
The last 3 years, I didn't see the battling for the colors.
No, but I think...
And that is a big factor because it's not about a person behind the scenes, it's about what's on the field, the people that surround you on the squad, and playing for these colors. Not red and black, unfortunately, but it's about the colors. You don't give up on that shit.
I hear you completely. But the thing with Dale, when I think about his legacy with us, obviously the coast-to-coast runs near and dear to me and Gio's heart, especially the one obviously in 2022 against Atalanta.
One of the best.
What an amazing moment. He had another 3 or 4 outstanding goals. The one where he slides and when they had that thing. Yes, that was wonderful. Dale's always been pretty solid. One of the goals, of course, in the Supercopa this year. Theo again. And
I'm biased.
And hold on.
Every game.
And we forgot the coolest feature, I guess you could mention, when the highest defender in goals for Milan's history is Theo Hernandez. So a remarkable 6th season with us. I did not think it was going to end like this. I do believe the entire relationship soured as soon as they removed Maldini, because I think everybody in the club, including the players, have an impression that the people that running and managing this club now don't know what this club is about, don't care what this club is about. And Theo is one of the players that probably took it most to heart. That doesn't make it an excuse for the water break and being a piss poor leader this year and being awful defensively. That has nothing to do with Maldini. If you wanted to praise Maldini and show him up for buying you and bringing you in, you could have played better defense, bro. Just
Maldini
honestly.
would have been a goal scorer if Maldini wanted to get goals and actually be a one-dimensional player where he focused more on actually putting the ball in the back of the net, not keeping it out of the back of our net.
Yeah.
Then yes, Maldini probably would have been up there and actually competing for that record that he just took. But we have to think of it that way. But before we leave this topic, I have to ask one thing from you. And I've been seeing it, and it's actually quite shocking, but respect to all of the podcasts that brought this up. Do you think he is legend status? I've been seeing people talking about it, and I'm shocked.
I would say this. Legend, I don't know.
No.
But he should always be spoken in high regard for helping us win a title.
Yes.
And everybody on that team should be.
Completely
Even though
agree.
we clown Krunic and Macias and even Salamakis until we realize he's actually a good player still. There's no reason to speak ill of a player like Theo Hernandez. He still gave it his all, and honestly, I think he was a solid player. It's a shame, and to be honest, we should have had him on contract. Our management is just stupid. Yeah. Speaking of stupid management, let's get to the next one. Finding Tijani Reindeer's replacement. We didn't get your thoughts. How did you? Just before we get to the finding the replacements, what were your thoughts in regard of TG being, sold away, bro? Again,
I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, and I know it's very stale news now, but this was probably one of the worst business decisions I've ever seen a professional football team do in the entire time I've actually watched footy, and that's probably over 25 years. Why? We had everything going for us. We had all of the marbles on our side, and we pretty much bent over backwards and pretty much gave him to Manchester City for nothing. We should have made it an absolute priority that the ballpark or the base offer before we even hear anything is 80 million euros. That's what we needed. Yeah. 80 million. At least just to start talking. And the reason why, you just got him to sign a new contract. He loves the squad. He wants to stay here. So the attitude is there, which is a very big thing. So we come down to the conclusion where it's okay. Well, completely, it's a managerial and it's a administrative decision to get rid of him. So the only thing I can say is hopefully, because we don't get to be in the boardrooms and the offices, hopefully there's something that they negotiated with Manchester City that we'll never know about, that's behind closed doors, that we will reap the benefits in maybe 2 to 5 years. That's the only thing that I'm thinking of, that may come out of this good. A connection
don't-
between
I
the
don't-
history of Manchester City, loving our fucking colors and everything.
I know they're damn near copying us. I don't know what's going
I love
on.
us for it. There is history to it. So that's all I'm gonna say. I could drag on about this, but hopefully they did something behind closed doors that we'll not know about that will come back to spoil us in the future.
Well, one of the people that have been popping up now, names have been very hot, but this particular guy, we'll talk to him first. Club Brugge, we're back to dealing with them. Not only are we talking about this guy, Ardon Jashari, but we're even talking about De Kreiner, or whatever his name is, their other defender, maybe to be the replacement for Theo Hernandez. But let's talk about this young guy, because supposedly he's got a lot of hype on him. Of course, Club Brugge wants 40. Milan stupidly comes in at 27. And of course, we have to start finagling from below asking price. I'm not saying go in exactly at 40, but can we get a little fucking closer so we don't allow other teams to come in and steal this guy from us? He seems to be a pretty good talent. What are your thoughts, man? Do you know anything about this kid? Have you seen him at all? Heard any rumors? Do you think he's a good sign? Because we got a couple other guys that we're going to talk about as well.
So I've seen a few of the casual videos that in the compilations that people have put together, and I've read a little bit about him. The thing that worries me is, again, he's coming from a league that is completely different than Serie A. Number one. Number two, you look at what TG did for us, and then you look at his statistics as well, like 3 or 4 goals or something like that, and like a handful of assists or just over a handful of assists. So it's not high, and that's in a lower rated league. Now he's going to be coming and playing with, I would say, a completely different realm of individuals that are more defensive. And then on top of that, do you think that they've considered the mind game that I think used to be a really big thing when we would buy players? Is he going to be able to adapt from going from Club Brugge, which we saw CDK completely fail at, and actually blend into Serie A right away and just fit into our squad? Because that's what we need. We need players that don't give a shit about what league they're playing and who they're playing for. They come in, they're playing footy, and let's just go. So well, I'm hoping they've thought about the mind game.
Ideally, that's the idea, is that hopefully he's a quick adapter. I believe he's Swiss. He's a little Swissy. Yeah. All right. And he's not the only Swissy, because we got another Swissy that we've been talking about.
Don't mind me. Is he
the other guy? I want to say he's pretty young. I know the chat is going to enter and tell us.
Yes,
I'm sure he's not that old. He might be in the low 20s, probably 23, 24, something like that, I believe.
I like that. See, I like that.
You know what? Yeah, Chaka is the same. Okay, yeah, and I know he's Swiss as well. That was my lead-in, Mikey. See, Mikey will tell me how young the other kid is. But, of course, another Swiss, like we were just mentioning, from Bayern Leverkusen. We were talking about Chaka, the former. Oh my God, what team was this? Was this guy on Arsenal? Can't fucking remember where he was. He was definitely on. Chaka is 32. Yes, the other kid is 22.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So so he's younger. That's what I thought. He's older though. I know he's like 30.
Yeah, he's 32, but okay, 32. Yeah. But again, his asking price, they seem to be coming down. Bayern Leverkusen seem to wanted more money, but now they seem to be coming down and willing around 8 to 10 million, which again, that's Milan territory right there. All right, yes, and he did play for Arsenal. I was right. Okay, Thank you. Again, now on Leverkusen, obviously Leverkusen have been pretty good for the last couple of seasons. He's another Swiss international, so that you could be bringing in 2 Swiss. All right, we can have the pocket knife right there in the midfield, interchanging them. I don't know. This guy seems pretty good. Again, probably rotation players. We need a lot of midfield. There's a lot of guys I think that are gonna bounce. And then the other player, which I don't have a slide for, so we're just gonna pretend he's there, is Ricci, whatever the fuck he is, Samuel. All right, Ricci supposedly, before it went super cold, now possibly back on the table.
I like this.
But we obviously know how difficult it is to deal with Torino. They are very difficult for us to usually get players from. They want an absorbent amount for Ricci. I don't know if that's going to happen.
That's the big problem. It won't come cheap.
I know. But being that he's the Italian of the bunch, and there's been all this, we're going to go more Italian, everything. What are your thoughts here, bro?
I love it. And this is what I would prefer over Shaka, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
We've wanted to build an Italian squad now for about a year and a half, and that's what we were promised. I know it's all bullshit every day, but I've liked what Ricci has provided. He's a very strong defensive midfielder. He knows Serie A. He's confident within the league, and I think this is the perfect stepping stone for him to come to Milan. And knowing that we're only playing in Serie A, and it's not going to be as intensive as other seasons, I think he'd be a perfect fit as a actual starter or a substitutional player. So I would prefer going for him and spending a little bit of bank, because we made a little bit of money this year, so we might as well spend the fucking money on a proper player that's Italiano. That's what I want to see. I want to see more Italian players on the squad really badly.
That's the thing. Honestly, I think he's an all right, not a like for like in regards to replace Tijani,
No.
But the reason why I don't like this is that, Jesus Christ, could you not get a deal in place before you sold away Tijani? Because the problem is, if you could get him for 35 or 40 million, as soon as they see that you got 60, 70, 58, whatever the fuck the number was, it wasn't enough, I'm sure.
6 or something like that, yeah.
Why? Now we want more money. Now it's being even more difficult. Get to the player, to get the player to tell the club, I don't want to be here no more. I want to go to Milan, get an agreement with them. Don't be cheap. Pay the $500,000 more in salary a year so you get the guy you want. Instead, we're going to drag this out the whole damn summer and possibly not get him, and then be late to the party for the second or third or fourth option, like everything else we do. So it's really pathetic. And honestly, I like the idea of having him. I think he could be a good player for Milan. But you telling me we're going to pay 35, 40 million for this guy? It's not a guy that I think is worthy of that sort of purchase.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I agree with you in that. I wouldn't say he would be worth the 40 range, but taking his age, he's coming from a team that is going to really be a very difficult team to negotiate with. It's going to be like every time we were negotiating with Juventus. It's, if we wanted a player, they jack the fucking price like nobody's business, and we would never do that to anybody else. Torino knows the game. So, yeah, I would really hope that this new director of sports can come in and actually play the Italian ball when it comes to negotiating, but it doesn't seem like he's doing fuck all for us right now. Pardon my French.
I agree, bro. Well, let's get to the next topic, because the last midfielder. I mean, look at this fucking...
Should I go get my cane?
I mean, look at this fucking graphic here, right? So, obviously, Modric is playing. He's still a Real Madrid player. He's currently in the Club World Cup.
Which I think is ridiculous.
So, Tari, and this comes from 433 here, all right? So, Tari's words regarding Modric is that, obviously, he wants Modric to join the club soon. We need new leaders. I spoke to him in person. I saw a guy with a great desire to remain competitive. His arrival will be fundamental for a group that needs players like him, those with leadership qualities. I couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. The first question Luca asked me was, will we be a team built to win the league? Minchia. Thank God you asked Tari that and not for Lonnie, because he would have said, I don't know, bro. Yeah, Moneyball. I don't know if we got the budget for that. He goes on to say he's won 6 Champions Leagues and wants to be a protagonist right away. It's important for the team to benefit from what he brings in terms of mentality, leadership, and professionalism. 100%. The fact that he's a Milan fan makes this story even more exciting. It would be fantastic for him to have a season where he plays a leading role, especially with the World Cup at the end of the season. Now, your idea, obviously he's 39. This is probably going to be a 2-year deal. So what are your thoughts of Luka Modric hopefully not getting hurt and arriving to Milan at some point in the next few weeks?
Fabio, riddle me this before I answer any of this. I want to ask you something, because it'll help me guide my answer to this question. Are we going to win? Are we targeting to try to win Serie A next year? Or are we just going for top 4? What do you think? That would guide me to an answer to this question.
From what I've seen so far,
it's early. I know.
All I can all I can go on is the lack of transfer moves and the bringing in of a coach and a sporting director. That's it. The sporting director seems like he has an idea that he wants to compete. You bring a serial contender in Allegri. So right now, it's finishing top 4. If you get signings and put the team together and we start off well, there's no reason that we cannot be, I don't want to say favorites, because that's never going to happen. Not right now. Not the way this team is. But if you start well and you have a coach that knows the league, and even if he's making you fall asleep and falling into your plate of nachos every Sunday or Saturday, if he's coming away with 3 points after 3 points after 3 points, I don't think you can't say that. I mean, I don't think they're going to come out and say that we want to compete. I mean, that's kind of like, of course, they're going to say that publicly. But I think in the background, they just want to get to top 4 so they can secure Champions League money. I don't think they give a fuck about competing like that, because you'll watch it. Even if, say they're within like 3 points of whoever's the leader in January next year, they're going to nickel and dime and find every stupid excuse to go out there and buy bullshit players. And we'll see how long Allegri is going to be willing to play this game. If Tade is really going to make much of a difference, if Furlani and co are going to really just be a bunch of idiots, excuse my language, but cock blocking all along the way. But I think when I see this team at the moment, all you've told me is that you want to compete for top 4.
Yeah.
4th place is your goal because you brought in Allegri. If you brought in Conte and you wanted to make some moves, then all right, now we're fighting to be a champion. I don't even think we're fighting to be top 2. I think we're fighting to be top 4.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing that, like, it leads me to my answer here is, with Modric being in his prime, his golden years, this is probably his last year, maybe competitively, could give another 2 years, give or take.
Yeah.
At a very competitive squad in Europe still. Does he want to come to Milan and actually play for a team that's going for top 4? Or does he want to come to a club that's playing one pretty much tournament in that Serie A and literally try to compete for a championship in his possibly last year in competitive footy? And there's to ruffle some feathers. If they sold them on, okay, we're going all in, we want to win Serie A, we want to get that second star, which is the most important thing for us.
Absolutely.
He wouldn't have went to the Club World Cup. He would have been like, okay, I'm coming here. I'm devoting my time. I want to meet the
I mean, the
Club.
Club
I know.
World,
I'm ruffling feathers here, but think about it.
I don't, again.
I know he wants that.
His contract, I think, is until at some point, and they probably extended it just for him to finish this tournament. But in regards to, like, you go and you play the Club World Cup with Real Madrid. You don't bounce after like so many Champions Leagues and stuff like that. I think, and I'm going to tell you honestly, think about if you're a guy who's about to be 40, right? You are going to play in the World Cup the next summer. You want to go to a team where you either ride the bench majority of the time or you're forced to play multiple times a week. At this point, you know you're going to come maybe do 60, 70 minutes and then probably get subbed out once a week. And if you help Milan push their way back up the table to fight for the champion, you're going to look like an amazing signing. And you still have it. You can ride out another year, 2 years. And then you're not that beat up before you go to the World Cup next summer. You know what I mean? If you're only playing once a week, it's not a bad move for him. And again, you play for Real Madrid and your next club is Milan, and maybe you close out. Maybe you only play 1 year, you do well, you play the World Cup, and you say, all right, that's enough. I've had enough. I'm out. Which I wouldn't, again, but in this day and age, players are playing much later into their careers. So there's no reason to say that this guy, who is the highest of highs in regards to a midfielder. Remember, he won a Golden Ball, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a bum. He is a great player. And if he brings some leadership, which our team dire needs, because Pulisic and Leao are great players on the field, but they are not leaders like that. They're not. Plus, we got Santi, if we don't sell him at some point. We got players. We need people in the midfield that have half a brain, that are not going to get red cards and get themselves in trouble, and provide an example to all the younger players and other players that we're going to bring in. If we get Chaka, we get Modric. Now we got 2 30-year-olds who have won shit. I remember Leverkusen had a great season last season, and they won the Bundesliga. Modric, how many titles? I think this is all good. Let's see if they can close it. Knowing our luck, Modric will get hurt in the final game he plays for Real Madrid and just get out. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I shouldn't have said anything.
All right, so.
But overall, for me, Modric, I'm with you. It comes down to like actually bringing a very strong mentality to this very young squad, even though a lot of these people are 25, 26. It is a young-minded squad. So him coming in with that winning spirit, that winning attitude, and having the experience, it's a good thing. I like it. I hope it's a 1 year deal.
I think you can. He's not going to take a 1 year. He needs to be 2 years. Yeah. Honestly,
it's the only thing that hurts me. It's like I'd rather he's 39 going to 40. He's going to be 40 going into the next season. I'd prefer him to showcase his talent, help develop younger talent in our Primavera and our Futuro, and try to act. And it's not. I know it's not happening, but this is the mentality we need.
My friend, you're segueing into the next topic already.
I'm sorry.
Camarda on loan with option to buy.
This is ridiculous.
Buy, and you think they're gonna bring in people to mentor the Futuro, the Division D Futuro? This fucking club doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And if I have to hear, ladies and gentlemen, oh, but this is what Real Madrid do all the time. We are not Real Madrid. How dare you compare us to people that have won the Champions League multiple times in the last decade to us who can't even compete for championships after 1 year? You can touch that patch. That patch ain't changing for another 10 years if this stupid management is still here.
We were so close to getting back to this. I'm going to stop.
Listen, here's Mike. Yes, we have a buyback. Yes.
I still
don't like it.
Yeah, you don't. It's the mental. Okay, I'm sorry to jump into this. The kid's got a fucking Curvo tattoo on his leg. He's another Sandro Tonali. He loves this color. He's bleeding these colors. This is the perfect year to have him as our second striker or third striker, but actually give him reps when we're playing lower division teams. If we're on lower table teams, that's when he's starting. That's when he's actually starting. When we're playing the higher division teams, that's when he's coming in as a possible super sub. That's the mentality this team should have taken with this kid being at 17, turning 18 going into this season. It's ridiculous that this is an even consideration. A loan, completely fine. But adding a buyback or an obligation to sell this is ridiculous. With a buyback clause, it's stupid. It's the mentality game, and it shows weakness from this management yet again. They don't like these colors.
Again, why did you block sending him out to Monza last season?
Agreed.
You didn't play him. Now you're going to send him to Lecce, and you're going to let Lecce have to be the one to develop the kid. And then, if they decide they want to keep him, you have to pay more than that to get him back. Great. What a great idea. Yeah. God forbid we fucking keep him. Did
you notice his development this year? I watched some of the Futuro games, and he is a solid talent. But when I was watching a few of the games when he was playing for our Primavera a few years back, he looked good. And I know he was playing at a different quality and a different level, and he was playing with the youth. But he just looked different when he was playing with the Futuro this year.
When he was playing with the 14s and the under 17s, he was balling. He was balling.
And you saw that. And then it just... Seeing him play now, it's like it's not the mental fatigue. A lot of people are saying it's like, okay, he's not going to be able to take that next step. It's not that. It's the way that Milan is handling this kid right now.
It's the fucking team. Can't
exactly.
Take the next step. Trust me, the kid had a fucking moment where he looked like he was about to be the youngest goal scorer in Champions League history. All right? If we just had more time and a little bit of competence all around, we could have got this kid playing at the first team level. But, of course, we can't. We only give him 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Expect him to play hero ball. Come on.
Fab, that is a fucking unbelievable point that you just brought up. Because with the amount of respect that he gained in that game in the Champions League and the amount of adrenaline and rush and confidence that he had, why the hell did they not set him up to actually start playing for our actual senior squad right there and then? He was in the Champions League. That is probably, if I were to play in that kind of game, I'd piss my pants. Or I'd probably shit myself, to be honest with you.
You need a diaper, my friend.
be honest.
Cover you on both sides.
Oh, but what he did, and to actually have that mental strength, why the fuck didn't you use that as a launch pad for his career there? No, you put him back, and what has happened? Absolutely nothing. That is a great point, Fab.
I don't, Ricardo's, he'll look good at Newcastle Sunday. God damn it, I don't like that one. All right, let's go to the next topic because I know there's a lot of stuff you got on your chest that you want to talk. Furlani talking again, my friend. He said the goal is to be competitive and aim to win trophies. First of all, this fucking rat bastard.
He actually looks like a rat.
He is a fucking rat. And that's insulting to Splinter and all the other good rats out there because he's a piece of shit for Lonnie. All right. But you had a lot of thoughts, man. We've had this podcast kind of brewing for 2 or 3 weeks like a stew. And finally, give everybody a taste of how you've been feeling because I'm sure a lot of it has to do with Furlani as well, man.
Accountability. I love footy with a passion, but I also love business. I work in the business industries, and watching what this idiot is doing when it comes to negotiation skills, what he does when it comes to public relations, what he's doing to destroy these colors, what he's doing to push the fan base. Here's a perfect example right now. We're all podcasters, or we try to be people that try to love Milan and talk to others, but in the last 2 years, because of management and the way and the directions they're taking this team, it has splintered the supporting groups. I remember when I was just loving life with Maldini and how everything was going with Milan. And I said to myself, I don't know if people remember, I always said 5-year plan. With Maldini, this is perfect. We've got the 5-year plan right now. And just before he got fired, we were at year 3. And I said, okay, we're almost at the point right now where we're going to be fighting in the Champions League now. We're not going to be winning it, but we're going to be fighting and competing to get there. And we were almost there. And what Maldini wanted to do and the idea, which a sporting director should bring, he had. And what this dumbass and other individuals that still haven't been held accountable for pretty much admitting we failed multiple times in the last 3 months has brought us back to zero. We are starting again. We are back to a rebuild after we just completed a rebuild and we won a miracle Scudetto. And we've been calling it a miracle Scudetto for a very long time, and I've been thinking about it. It wasn't a miracle Scudetto because there were a lot of good teams out there at the same time. There were some miracle things that happened throughout the season, but a core group of players that love the squad, that believe in the project, that are mentored and brought upon by actual people that know football, that's what wins Champions Leagues. That's what wins trophies. And that's what this team has lacked for the last 2 years and what this management has brought upon. And that's why these players are playing like this now. It's not about the sport. It's only about making money and praying to God that their value will increase and they can peace out and go to another club and make bank. And that's where we're at right now. We're an Arsenal 2.0 from back 8 to 10 years ago.
I know it's very disappointing when you think of it like that, but I see this team, and again, Enrico's been all over the place. We had him on the podcast here with Stevie.
Unreal.
He's been great. He just joined Matt and Martino again on their channel.
Great. You got to check that show out. That was another
great one. Show. Yes, and honestly, I'm starting to come to Enrico's side of just thinking that, you know what, it's really hard to support this club when these people are doing everything they can to strip us of what Milan is. And honestly, it starts with the very basic idea that if you're not competent at what you're doing and you're not competent at your what a great tat, bro. If you're not competent at your job, right, and you're the owner and you don't know anything, you're living in a different fucking stratosphere of most people can even perceive, fine. But hire people who are competent, all right? Look, I see a lot of people in the chat saying, like Mikey saying the Scudetto was a fluke, you know, it was a miracle Scudetto. It was. But guys, remember, there was a great thing Tom Coughlin, New York Giant head coach, used to say, all right? When you're prepared, luck seems to always be on your side. And what they did was that they brought together a team. And sometimes a team is better than individuals who can't put it all together. And that's what Milan was. We had a couple outstanding players, but they were a team that year. We had the best goalkeeper, one of the best defenders. We had the best forward in Leao. And we had guys like Messias, Salamakis, Krunic, all playing their role and doing well. So that team, yes, it was a fluke. We won because of Inter's backup goalkeeper against that Bologna game, changing that game in hand. That was the only difference. But that does not take away from the 8 games of going undefeated to close the title out. All right? That does not change. In the end, management came in, disturbed everything. It all starts from Furlani. And as Furlani still being there and everybody only caring about the stupid stadium, and yes, I want the stadium. It will make the team completely financially stable. You'll be able to just reinvest the money there alone. That is enough to get us hopefully to the point where the evaluation is now higher. They sell to somebody who has much more money, who will invest in the team, who won't have this insane cutting costs left and right, trying to nickel and dime for every player, picking managers because they're taking lower salary over time. That's insane.
But
Go ahead.
The other thing that we have to understand is what it's hard to believe is these colors and this squad is a money factory. If it's purchased by an actual person that actually has good cash flow, they're not actually taking loans, they're actually purchasing this club for an actual sporting reason. You look at like what people do. The Lakers, for example, just got bought out by a significant amount of money, but there's other teams that get bought out by actual specific individuals that like the sport, want to spend the money, and that is what we're lacking right now. People will not want to buy this squad anytime soon because they've destroyed what this squad actually means, the value, the brand, and it's continuing to go downhill. And that's exactly what Jerry wants to do. He actually wants to lose more value on the investment that he made. I don't understand that. You want a person from Saudi Arabia, an oil giant or a prince or something, or a king, to come and buy this squad. But they need to love the squad. They need to love the passion, the history, and the history has been pretty much evaporated. Do you see any of our club legends showing up and supporting the squad on a regular basis like they used to? No. Do you see when people and when our social media or the Milan social media is posting videos of our history, beautiful goals by Kaká, Shevchenko, are people buying into that and respecting it like they used to? No, you just see faces of Maldini. You see terrible comments. Do you think a person from Saudi Arabia or an American is going to want to come and actually make a significant investment on the squad right now? No. They've completely destroyed the history, the brand, the
value. The value, insane, bro. I don't understand. Aren't you supposed to increase the value? And you've been sabotaging it left and right. It's really crazy, man, when you think about it. I just gotta mention this. What are we saying in the chat here? I saw somebody say the 2007 Champions League was a miracle as well. No, my friend. No. And sorry, cousin Phil, I have to kill your call. You're calling me in the middle. First of all, Champions League is no, my friend. It was sweet revenge. Served exactly how it should, because we should have never lost 2005. No way. You could say
that was a miracle to Liverpool to win that actual
championship. Exactly. All right. We have a long way to go, man. But if this stupid management can get things turned around, anything can happen, but I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to look good. I think we might be, and this was a funny comment, man, that Paolo put in there, and I got to give him some love. And we got 2 super chats, Vinny. We're going to get to them in a second. We got 2 super
chats right now.
Paulo Cesar, I want everybody to remember today's date, 6/24/2025. This is where Max Allegri gets the most love out of us Milan fans. It'll be all downhill from now on. Prediction exactly last year is coming true. Paulo, I'm sorry, you might be correct, but we'll see. Listen, he could put me to sleep as long as we keep getting 3 points week in, week out. I don't care. You know what? I'd rather be put to sleep at the bar. I'd rather hang out with my friends and not have to worry and be so pissed off. Usually, we're sweating profusely and having to sweat out every game we're watching, Milan. It'd be nice if we just get the 3 points so we can drink and be happy. God forbid.
I wouldn't mind some 2-0s casually.
Let's not get 2-0. I'll take them too, but I don't think they're on their way, my friend. All right, so let's go to our Patreon here. Our super chats. Big up to Oscar. He made a comment earlier, $5 super chat. Oscar, we appreciate you so much, man. Camarda needs this loan. Lecce need an incentive to play him. That option to buy gives him that. You guys need to use your heads. Oh, Oscar, that last line hurt my heart. So but Oscar, you know what? He's right. He might be right, bro. He might be right.
Do you think it's going to help his head where he's with a team that he's absolutely in love with that has pretty much grown him? Now they're pretty much sending him away with an option to buy. Do you think he's going to feel good and that's going to be good for his head? Do you think that's going to be good to the family that has raised him as a Milanista? Do you think that's going to help his development?
I mean, but at the same time, this is a part of the sport. You have to be willing to go out there and listen. It's been happening to Colombo, happened to all these different players, Pobega, that your team, they send you out, send you to another club, smaller club, and you have your moment to shine. Let's hope he goes there and really grows. My problem is that when you buy him back, we're probably going to have to reevaluate his contract again. And the kid at 17 is already making close to $1 million. So when you buy him back, now we're going to be looking at 2-3 million because he's not going to be stupid. His agent's not going to be stupid. It's probably one of his parents or his agent. And they're going to say, you know what, Milan, since you guys are such a shit show, even though our son is a Milan fan and we're Milan fans, we want the money to stay here. Otherwise, we're going to do what's best for our son. So that's all I'm saying. And I don't doubt that Oscar might be right. Let you have the incentive to play him. And big ups, he mentioned in the comment too, Martino and Matt did a great video regarding Camarda being loaned out. Again, it's not even 100%. Seems like it's almost 95% there. So we're just assuming it's going to happen. But big ups to those guys. They always give us love. But any other thoughts on regards to Camarda and this comment by Oscar?
Yeah, I was going to say, great question and great comment, Oscar, because even thinking of it on the other direction, I always like to look at both angles of things. Who knows? He might go there and with that obligation to buy, he might be like, no, I need to show my worth for this squad. I want to come back and I want to be part of Milan. This is just a stepping stone for my career. So again, that's another way of looking at it. So a great comment there, Oscar, because again, it can go both ways.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well done.
All right. Second super chat of the night. Nick, baby. Always one of our loyal listeners. We appreciate you, Nick. All I see online is clips of what we once were, and it pisses me off every time I see it. Listen, Nick, I would just say this, my friend. Don't be mad because it's not the way it is anymore. Just be happy that you got to live it because that's it. If you're going to get mad, I understand. I understand the sentiment of getting mad because it just reminds you of how pathetic we've become and all the bad choices that the club has made. But at the same time, history is its own thing, man. Just be happy you were alive and you got to enjoy it. And hopefully that Milan one day turns it around and you get to see great things again. Vince, we're almost at the end. It's parting shot time. Let's fucking go.
Jesus. God. You want to go first?
Well, my parting shot's always what it is. Guys, I know it's summertime. We're taking a little break. But, of course, I always support my club, New York City Club. Follow us on AC Milan NYC on all the social, especially Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and Instagram. And also, big ups to my boy Timmy Barone from Milan Club Toronto. Guys, I don't know if you've been enjoying the Club World Cup. I don't know. It's all right so far. Last night was amazing. We got to check out me and Timmy Palmeiras against, Al Hilal or whatever the hell it's called. I probably just
You'll never get it.
Al whatever they're called. But Egyptian team, got to see one of my buddies from NYC Club there, who's also, that's his club from his hometown. Got to hang out with Timmy and his dad. Got to see another friend from VVP chat, Ahmed. So big up to him, Meadow. It was just a great time to go out and watch some soccer. Again, a chance to meet people, talk to Timmy 15 million times. He's been on the channel with us. Friend of the channel always. So big ups to my boy Timmy, bro. That's my parting shot. What's yours, buddy?
My parting shot is to Allegri taking a fantastic vacation after he's been on vacation since May of last year, which makes no logical sense, but bless his soul. And then my other parting shot is I'm going to be traveling back to Toronto in September for the Bologna game 3 of the season. I'll be venturing out to rep my boys back with Milan Club Toronto. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there and interacting with their, getting back together with Tib, and it's going to be fantastic. And Frank, I'm coming to see you too, man.
There you go. Facebook Frank going to be in the building. Milan Bologna, I believe week 3. So if you're going to be in the greater Toronto area, go check out, say what up to Vince Mancini and all of Milan Club Toronto, baby. Oh. Guys, it's always tough with Milan, man. Nothing's really changed. Still kind of grinding out, being a fan but this is where you got to stick through. You got to be here. And all the bad times, nothing is going to stop us. Don't send me nothing. Don't try to get me to stop. I will not stop. We are here. Vinny is enjoying a well-deserved vacation. Vinny, enjoy your trip, buddy, with your lady friend to Milan and Paris and all of Europe. Guys, if you see Vinny, buy him around. Tell him he's the best and just keep it coming. Me and Stevie will probably be doing something in the upcoming weeks. So check us out. Gio's swimming in the water. Gio's enjoying his summertime. He said, fuck this shit. I'll see you when the season starts. I got the Dodgers to worry about. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince, thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure. Everybody, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next Milan Weekly podcast show. Gonna be hopefully next week. Maybe it'll be coast to coast. Who the fuck knows? Guys, ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan, andiamo.
Ciao, everybody. Good night.